Hello there guys, welcome to one of my videos. So, according to Sports Witness, Manchester United are interested in signing David Brooks from Bournemouth. We are seeing him as an alternative to Jaden Sancho. But we are serious about, getting David Brooks in. Now, reportedly, he is available for around £40 million. Obviously, Bournemouth did get relegated from the Premier League. I think a few weeks ago, it said that Liverpool were interested in him. Now, David Brooks has endured a few years with Bournemouth. Obviously, he has got a contract with Bournemouth until 2022. Bournemouth did pay £11.5 million for him from Sheffield United. He also had a loan spell with Halifax Town. David Brooks, don't forget, during his youth career, endured like 10 years with Manchester City. David Brooks is only the age of 23. He is predominantly a right winger. For the vast majority of this season, he has been out with an ankle injury. He is Welsh, as you all know. He made his senior debut for Wales in 2017. But yeah, £40 million, much cheaper solution than Jaden Sancho. But we have been looking at a lot of alternatives to Jaden Sancho. Obviously, Bournemouth, I think are going to let quite a few of their players go. I think Callum Wilson is up for sale for Bournemouth. I think they've said they want around £30 million for him. Don't forget, back on deadline day in January, we went in for Joshua King. Obviously, he's a former Manchester United player. Obviously, Bournemouth have just recently sold Nathan Ake to Manchester City for £41 million. And it's looking very, very likely that Aaron Ramsdale is going to be leaving Bournemouth, because Sheffield United have agreed to get him for around £18.5 million. So I think this is a shock, for quite a lot of Manchester United fans, that we are serious about getting David Brooks in. I think, we've actually, been long admirers of the player. But, we shall see anyway. But he's a good player, like I mentioned, well proven in the Premier League. And do you think he would dramatically improve Manchester United if he was to come in? But like I said, there's other alternatives as well. Obviously we've been looking at Ousmane Dembele from Barcelona. We've also been looking at Federico Chiesa from Fiorentina. We've also looked at Rabbi Matondo from Schalke. We've looked at Kingsley Coman from Bayern Munich. We've recently looked at Douglas Costa from Juventus. But, there's still some Manchester United fans that think Jaden Sancho to Man United is still a possibility. I'm not going to fully disregard it, but I'm very sceptical that we'll sign Sancho in this summer transfer window, and this is the main explanation why we are now looking at alternatives. Lucien Favre, the Borussia Dortmund boss, he has come out and urged Sancho to stay at Dortmund for next season. And Lucien Favre has also come out and made an admission saying that there's still aspects of Sancho's game that has got to improve. Now, obviously, you had Borussia Dortmund's CEO. He came out and said that Sancho is staying at Dortmund. Michael Zorg, the Borussia Dortmund sporting director, said the other week that Sancho is staying at Dortmund and the decision is final. Obviously, we failed to meet Borussia Dortmund's deadline, because obviously Dortmund said we had until the 10th of August to sign Sancho. It was looking very, very imminent that Sancho was going to be coming to Manchester United a few weeks ago, because obviously Fabrizio Romano came out, who's a very reliable Italian journalist. He said that negotiations between Manchester United and Dortmund were at an advanced stage. And he said that Sancho had agreed personal terms with Man United, and it said, he was set to sign a 5-year deal with a football club worth £250,000 a week. But throughout the course of this Jaden Sancho transfer saga, it has been Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block. Because obviously, Dortmund's valuation is around £108 million. Dortmund have been looking for like £90 million up front. But we had actually set our limit. We said we was only willing to pay like £60 or £70 million up front. That's all we was willing to pay. But I said, if we would have met Borussia Dortmund's asking price, then Sancho would have been our most expensive signing, and he would have been the most expensive British player in history. It does mention though that negotiations between Man United and Borussia Dortmund, I think, are still going on. But obviously, we can't come to an agreement on Sancho's wages or the agent fees and that. But yeah, I think probably Sancho's going to be staying at Dortmund for next season. Obviously, we did make a promise to him that we was willing to offer him the number 7, because obviously we have got number 7 vacant at the moment. But we have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. Sancho's enjoyed 3 years with Dortmund. Like I said, Dortmund got him for next to nothing. They only paid £8 million in from Man City. So they got him for next to nothing. But analyse his performances in the few years he's been with Dortmund, his valuation has persistently grown. So Sancho is probably the third player now that we've missed out on under Solskjaer, because obviously, we missed out on Haaland. Obviously, he went to Dortmund in January, and we also missed out on Jude Bellingham from Birmingham. He went to Dortmund quite a few weeks ago. But Sancho is our number 1 priority target, and I think we have been in for him for like the last 3 years. Dortmund did say quite a few weeks ago though they'd come to accept the fact that he wanted to leave, and Dortmund were obviously not in the market looking for replacements for him. So that is the news regarding him. But I outlined the reasons why I wanted Sancho at Man United, because he'll dramatically improve us. He's got a good friendship with Rashford, and he is predominantly a right winner. So yeah. Now, I just want to give you some news on Sergio Romero. So, reportedly, Sergio Romero is open to leaving Manchester United in this summer transfer window. It does mention that Chelsea, Everton and Leeds are all interested in him. Now, obviously, throughout the course of this season, Romero has played in all our League Cup games, and he's also played in all our FA Cup games prior to the FA Cup semi-final, and I think he played in all our Europa League games prior to the semi-final. Now, Romero has just got under a year left on his Manchester United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. Now, Romero has endured 5 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we got him on a free from San Pandora back in 2015. Romero's obviously he's been on loan at Monaco before. He's also played for AZ Alkmaar, and he's also played for Racing Club. He is now in his early 30s, I think, is Sergio Romero. But if we was to sell him in this summer transfer window, we would probably demand around £5 or £6 million for him. But as it stands at the moment, Sergio Romero is our backup goalkeeper. And I think Romero has kept, 39 clean sheets in 61 games for the club. So that is the breaking news on him. So he could be another player leaving Man United in this summer transfer window. Now, I just want to give you some breaking news on Dean Henderson. Now, there's been narratives coming out of the mainstream media today saying that Man United have offered Dean Henderson a new 4-year contract worth £100,000 a week. It was only last year that Dean Henderson had signed a new contract worth £60,000 a week. So if he does sign this new deal, his wages will almost double. Now, Dean Henderson's current contract at the football club at the moment runs until 2022. Now, Solskars has given his perception on this, and Solskjaer said that Dean Henderson is not yet ready to become our number 1 goalkeeper for next season. So obviously the club are planning to loan him out again for next season. I don't think Dean Henderson will be going back to Sheffield United, obviously, because they've got Aaron Ramsdale. But I think Dean Henderson should be our number 1 for next season. Main explanation is because he has now got that experience behind him. Because he's enjoyed 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. And he has been Sheffield United's player of the season. And I think he's reliable enough now to become our number one. And Henderson said, he wanted to be assured number one for next season. If he wasn't to be, then he said he wanted to leave Manchester United. But Dean Henderson has had quite a few loan spells, with Stockport, Grimsby and Shrewsbury. We got Dean Henderson back in 2011 from Carlisle. We got him at the age of 14. But yeah, so we have offered him a new 4-year deal at the club. Obviously, he agrees this new deal. He'll be under contract to us until 2024. And I think there's also an option of a further year included. But Chelsea are obviously still looking to get Dean Henderson because they're looking for a replacement for Kepa Arrizabalaga because, quite frankly, Chelsea are not happy with him. Obviously, Solskars said, he wants David De Gea to remain number one for next season. So he's going to probably give De Gea at least another season to see how he does. De Gea has endured 9 years with Manchester United. Obviously now he's approached his 10th year at the football club. And like I've said to you before, De Gea's had 7 good years out of the 9 years he's been at Man United because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he has made. De Gea has made 405 appearances for Man United in all competitions and 300 odd appearances in the Premier League. Solskjaer did say a few weeks before the season finished that De Gea has been the best goalkeeper in the world for the last 9 or 10 years. Because obviously De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club and he has won individual awards. Reflects on his good run of performances. If we were to sell De Gea in this summer transfer window, which I don't think we will, but if we did, we'd probably get around £60 million for him. It's still a lot more than the 18 odd million pounds that were paid for him from Atletico Madrid. But I said, didn't I, when De Gea does leave Manchester United, he will go back to Spain. Main explanations is because he was born in Spain, relatives are from Spain, girlfriend from Spain, and he began his footballing career in Spain. And don't forget, back in 2015, very, very close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine, the deal never materialised. So, yeah. So that is the news on that. Now, I want to delve into some news on David Alaba from Bayern Munich. Now, there's reports coming out saying that David Alaba could be a Premier League player in the next fortnight. Now, reportedly, David Alaba has turned down a contract offer from Bayern Munich. Reportedly, Bayern Munich have offered him like 15 million a year. But he's obviously not satisfied with this. So it's saying that Manchester United are interested in him, and it also says that Chelsea are interested in him. I think Manchester City were in for him at one point. I think Manchester City wanted to get him as part of a deal of Leroy Sané going to Bayern Munich, but obviously that's what deal did not materialise. Now, David Alaba has spent the entirety of his career, the entirety of his senior career so far with Bayern Munich. He has made over 350 appearances for them, I think, in all competitions. He has just got a year left on his current contract, or just under a year left, as David Alaba. His versatility is very, very good because obviously he's played as a central midfielder, which is a box-to-box. He's also played as a central defender. He's also played as a left winger. He's also played as a right winger. And he's also a left back. I think he's actually predominantly a left back. And obviously Man United are in search for a left back. Now, David Alaba got voted Austria's Austrian Football of the Year 6 consecutive times and was named in UEFA's Team of the Year 3 times. But he's actually a very, very good player. Obviously, our predominant left back, the predominant left backs we've got is Luke Shaw and Brandon Williams. Obviously, Luke Shaw is our first choice left back, and he has been our first choice left back for a while. And I think Luke Shaw will remain our first choice left back for next season because obviously Luke Shaw is more experienced than Brandon Williams. But I won't take anything away from Brandon Williams. I still think he's enjoyed a very, very good season for Man United. But Luke Shaw's enjoyed 6 years at the club. He's done well this season. My only element of concern about Shaw is that he's injury prone. We did get him from Southampton back in 2014 for just £30 million. So that is the latest news on that. But, you know, there's so many players on our agenda. But we've got to hurry up and start making signings. I think, you know, with this ongoing situation with Jaden Sancho, it is slowing our transfer business down a bit, isn't it? Obviously, Solskjaer did recently say he can't guarantee if we're going to make any signings before the start of the new Premier League season. We know the new Premier League season starts on the 12th of September, which isn't far away now. And obviously, Solskjaer is looking to improve the squad. He's already outlined his transfer plans. You know, he has said he wants to make at least 3 signings in this summer transfer window. I think Ed Woodward has said he wants Manchester United to make around 3 or 4 signings in this summer transfer window. And Solskjaer's obviously identified the areas in the squad where he does want to strengthen up. But, you know, this summer transfer window is Solskjaer's 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager. Our transfer budget got revealed at the end of the Premier League season. Obviously, you know, it said we've got around £140 million to spend. But we don't only need to focus on the incomings in this summer transfer window. We also need to focus on the outgoings as well. Because Solskjaer is going to get rid of more of the deadwood in this summer transfer window. The players I expect us to get rid of is Jesse Lingard. I expect Andres Pereira to leave the club. I also expect Smalling, Rojo and Jones to go. I also expect Manchester United to get rid of Diego Dalot. Some United fans will say we need to get rid of Juan Mata. Possibly Victor Lindelof. I don't think he's good enough at the moment for Manchester United. He's Victor Lindelof. Some United fans believe, you know, we could sell Harry Maguire, but I don't think, you know, that's going to happen. Eric Bay, he's another one. You know, my only element of concern about Eric Bay is that, you know, he's very, very injury prone. So we'll get rid of quite a lot of players in this summer transfer window. So reflect on that. Our transfer budget will increase. But big decisions have got to be made in this summer transfer window. I think Solskjaer has got to take the captaincy off Harry Maguire because I don't think Harry Maguire is good enough to captain the team. He doesn't really show any leadership, Harry Maguire, does he? I think we need to probably give the captaincy to probably maybe Bruno Fernandes or Paul Pogba because they do show good leadership. You know, Harry Maguire's done alright in his first season. Obviously, we got him in a deal worth £80 million from Leicester last summer. You know, we paid £80 million, yeah. So he's the second most expensive signing at the club and the most expensive centre-half in the world. I think we also need to end the uncertainty over Paul Pogba's future. We've got to get Paul Pogba a new long-term contract at the football club. To be honest with you, towards the end of the Premier League season, I thought Paul Pogba made a fantastic impact. You know, I think he's done well since he's come back from that ankle injury. Because for the vast majority of the Premier League season, didn't really have a perception on Pogba because he was out with that ankle injury. But he has sustained quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player. But a couple of weeks before the season finished, it did say that Paul Pogba was close to signing a 5-year contract with Man United. And Fabrizio Romano came out and said that Paul Pogba is happy at Manchester United. And he said he wants to stay at Manchester United. And it did say we'd enter negotiations with his agent Mino Raiola over getting him a new contract. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. As it stands at the moment, Pogba's our most expensive signing because we did pay £89 million for him. Like I said though, since the turn of the year, we was very, very critical of Mino Raiola because don't forget earlier on in the year, he publicly criticised Solskjaer and Manchester United. And we do know that Mino Raiola has been in the process of trying to get his client to transfer away from Man United completed in the last couple of years. You know, he's had talks with Real Madrid, he's had talks with Juventus and that. But it wasn't so long ago that Paul Pogba celebrated his 4-year anniversary at the club. Around this time last year, Pogba, you know, come out and made an admission and said that he wanted to leave Manchester United because he said he was seeking for a new challenge. So far, I know Pogba's won 2 trophies at the football club, and that was the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season. But I've got to say, his combination with Bruno Fernandes in our midfield has been absolutely fantastic. There's been recent stories coming out saying that Juventus are willing to offer Paulo Dybala in a swap to re-sign Pogba. Don't forget we was in for Paulo Dybala last summer. Any deal for Dybala would probably cost us around 100 million euros, which equates to around 90 million in pounds sterling. So there you go. So we need to get him a new contract at the football club. But to be fair though, we have extended a lot of players' contracts since Solskjaer came in, but we still got around 7 or 8 players' contracts that are due to expire next year. Obviously, this was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first full season at the football club. And obviously, I gave you my review yesterday, didn't I, on it? And to be honest with you, I think he's done well in his first full season. He's exceeded most of his expectations. Obviously, I've got us qualification for the Champions League. And I did say, didn't I, how important Champions League was for our players, attracting players in for the financial structure. We also finished 3rd, which I thought was a fantastic achievement. And, we did progress to 3 semi-finals. We got to the Europa League semi-final. We got to the FA Cup semi-final and the EFL Cup semi-final. But, Solskjaer did say that semi-finals are not good enough. But, I think he's done quite well in his first full season, because earlier on in the Premier League season, you wouldn't have thought Solskjaer would have exceeded any expectations, because earlier on in the season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season for 30 years. The disappointing thing is that, it's over 3 years now without a major honour for Man United, and that's the first time in 31 years. We're still looking to win our first trophy under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Solskjaer's now been at the football club over a year and a half. But I did say, didn't I, Sevilla was always going to be a difficult game for us. Sevilla were a good team. They're the record holders of the Europa League. They've won 5 Europa Leagues. They're now in another final. They're now unbeaten in their last 20 games, Sevilla. But I just thought we was unlucky in the game. I think, we had some very, very good chances. We was just defensively shambolic. But Solskjaer will be here next season, I can fully assure that. Because next season is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's second full season at the club. But Solskjaer knows next season he will have bigger expectations to exceed, so it is going to be a bigger test for him. Our expectations next season probably will be to challenge for the title and win some silverware. That's what our expectations will be. Because obviously we want to be up there competing with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. Obviously, teams around us have done a good recruitment so far. And the summer transfer window, I think, it's now been open just a few weeks. It doesn't shut until October. Obviously, Chelsea, back in February, they signed Hakim Ziyech for around 37 or 38 million. They signed Werner for around £48 million. They spent an £80 million on them players. I think they've got Ben Chilwell in, or they're close to getting Chilwell. They're looking to get Kai Havertz on the board. Liverpool, they signed Tusikmas from Olympiacos for £13 million. They try to get Thiago from Bayern Munich. City, they signed Nathan Ake for 41 million and they've got Ferran Torres for around 27 million. I think Tottenham have just recently signed a player. Arsenal have just got Willian on the free, and I think they're closing on getting Gabriel Magalhaes. I think Gabriel Magalhaes does want to go to Arsenal. So Man United have got to hurry up and, start doing recruitment in this summer transfer window. We really, really have. But it's going to take a long rebuilding process, to get us back, to where we want to be. Obviously, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so last time we won it was in Alex Ferguson's last season. Last time we won the Premier League. But like I said, I have seen improvements under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Our recruitment's definitely improved under him. Because we have been criticised for several years, reflecting on how poor our recruitment policy's been. I think throughout the course of the season, Solskjaer promoted the youth well. I think his approach to the big games were also very, very good. He's also got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into the club as well. Obviously, we're unbeaten in our last 14 league games. We haven't lost in the league since January. Don't forget as well, went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions until Chelsea beating us in the FA Cup semi-final. I think there's definitely players that have improved under Solskjaer. So these positives to take, but don't get me wrong, there's still improvements needed. Solskjaer's got to improve his decision making, because there's a lot of games throughout the course of the season where he's been very tactically naive. But on the other side of things, there's some games where he's showed a lot of tactical flexibility. I think there's still certain players that have got to step up to the plate. I think there's definitely aspects of our game that have also got to improve. So there's still definitely improvements needed at Man United. There really, really is. But, Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Alex Ferguson era. And like I said to you before, we haven't really got the structure to keep sacking managers. The managers we sat since Ferguson was David Moyes. He endured, 8-9 months at the club. Moyes should never been recommended in. Obviously, Ferguson was at the fault for ever recommending him in, but the main explanation why I recommended him in is because they was both Scottish. Obviously, Moyes, during his time, obviously brought 2 players in, and that was Fellaini and Juan Mata. Louis van Gaal, we sacked him after two years. We did win the FA Cup under Van Gaal. Obviously, Van Gaal, brought a good 16 players into Manchester United. Like I said, he brought the likes of Schneidlin in, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Di Maria, Falcao, like I said, Daley Blind, Rojo, Darmian, Martial and Shaw, Herrera, Romero. Van Gaal brought a hell of a lot of players into the club. Obviously, Mourinho, he got sacked after 2.5 years. Mourinho did win the Europa League and the League Cup in his first season, and he recommended a good 11 players into Manchester United. But actually, the vast majority of this team now is Jose Mourinho. So let's put into the equation Solskjaer's inheriting the vast majority of Jose Mourinho's team. There's only 4 or 5 players that are Solskjaer's who he's brought in so far. Last summer Solskjaer brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. And in January, brought Bruno Fernandes and Odina Gallo in. He got a Gallo on loan, obviously. He's also brought quite a few academy players in as well. Recently got that Philips Stevanovic from Partizan Belgrade. He's going to officially join us in the summer of 2021 because he's going to remain at Partizan Belgrade on loan for next season. I think that Mark Joado, and we officially got him now. So we bought quite a few young players in. But, we've got a lot of good young players coming through anyway. Recently, Ethan Laird got promoted into the senior squad. I think Ethan Galbraith, he recently got promoted into the senior squad as well. So, there you go. But I think Solskjaer's learned a lot since he's come in. He really, really has. And he has now got that managerial experience behind him because Man United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. Obviously, before he was at us, he was at Molde. Did well at Molde, won a few titles with them. And obviously, before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff. Solskjaer's record at Cardiff was actually disastrous. The main explanation why he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated and that. But I think Solskjaer's just got under 2 years left now on his Man United contract. I can almost assure that he will see out the remainder of his contract at least. If Solskjaer was to exceed expectations next season, then maybe there'd be a possibility chance where we could enter negotiations over getting him a contract extension. But I don't know if he's the foreseeable future for Man United. Next season will tell the story. We are the most successful team in Premier League history because we have won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier Leagues. In the entirety of our history, we have won 45 trophies. But in the last 7 years, we have made a lot of mistakes, and that's one of the main explanations why we have been so inconsistent. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes, on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless you all again very, very soon.